The Gaza Health Ministry's death toll is inaccurate.
The Hamas-run Health Ministry in Gaza has announced that more than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed.
And we cannot state definitively, especially if the source is Hamas, that 13,000 children have been killed.
So according to Gaza Health Ministry, which is run by Hamas, the number they have is 32,000, but they don't distinguish between Hamas and civilians.
So, is there any truth to these claims? Well, to begin with, we know that the Gaza Health Ministry's death toll is actually inaccurate. But this is not because they are lying, and it is not because the death toll is much lower. It is because the health sector and civil defense are incapable of recording or reaching all of the dead. Well, according to the health ministry, roughly 34,000 Palestinians have been killed so far in Gaza. This statistic does not account for the some 13,000 people who are still missing and assumed dead under the rubble. Now, at the start of April, the health ministry released a 454-page list of the dead, including their IDs, names, and ages, similar to how it released a list in October after US President Joe Biden disingenuously claimed he doubted the death toll at the time. This was perhaps the second largest lie told by the American leader after his claims to have seen photos of beheaded Israeli children, a lie so outrageous that his own government quickly denied it. So why are we still hearing people doubting the Gaza Health Ministry's statistics and labeling the officially established death toll as Hamas's figures? Well, firstly, despite the fact that every trusted international human rights group, political and legal body at the United Nations, and even Israel itself, having attested to the accuracy of the Gaza Health Ministry's statistics, pro-Israel propagandists are still trying to skew the figures. So you may hear them attempt to subtract the Israeli figure provided for how many alleged Hamas fighters they claim to have killed from the Gaza death toll. Then from there attempting to build an argument that there is a near 2-to-1 civilian to militant kill ratio. The problem with this is that we already know that nearly 70% of all Gazans listed as killed by the health ministry are women and children. So, the argument, which is based on unsubstantiated Israeli figures of killed Hamas fighters, which ranges roughly between 9,000 to 12,000 killed depending upon the time of day, and also would suggest that almost every man killed was Hamas, which includes the elderly, journalists, medical workers, aid workers, the civil defense workers, and so on. Also, the Israeli Hamas death toll doesn't make any sense either, not only because they are unable to provide any proof, but because they haven't given a statistic for how many fighters from the some dozen other armed groups they have killed. This indicates that their figure is either plucked out of thin air, that they are unable to differentiate between different Palestinian resistance groups, or both. When this argument falls apart, they then attempt to say that the health ministry is Hamas-run. This too is a bold-faced lie. Hamas is indeed the elected government in Gaza, so technically any body or department linked to Gaza's civil administration is Hamas-linked. Yet the Gaza Health Ministry is not run by Hamas political or military figures. It's run by qualified professionals that coordinate with international agencies. Stating, as the likes of the BBC do, that the health ministry is Hamas-run is the equivalent of saying Israel's death toll is from a Netanyahu-run health ministry. It's simply cheap propaganda. On top of all of this, we have to keep in mind that Israeli propagandists are still repeatedly spreading debunked October 7 atrocity propaganda, like the beheaded babies lies, and often going unchecked when they do this, repeating these lies again and again on mainstream Western television, which even the Israeli regime has distanced itself from at this point. So, yes, the health ministry's death toll is inaccurate, but unfortunately, that is because it doesn't have the ability to record every murder, and the true civilian death toll is likely roughly 13,000 people higher.